Injury front, not really much to add than what I talked about yesterday. Obviously, still working through some of those things here as we sit here on Monday afternoon. They lifted today, had meetings with them, watched the tape with them. Talked about why that game got out of hand, truthfully, and gave them some answers how to make sure that we're intentful, how to fix those things, and looking forward to coming back and working on that and getting it corrected and having a good week and getting a win versus Jacksonville.
After watching the film, how did it get out of hand?
We lost the ball 3-0. And that led to 10 points. The 3 takeaways led to 10 points, and 2 of the 3 takeaways were in scoring position, so that takes points off the board. And I don't think penalties are a winning stat, but way too many self-inflicted wounds. And, there's, I think off the top of my head, 50 yards of what I call non-negotiables that the refs don't have to do anything. It's completely on us. And then we had another, I think, 80 yards of calls, And when it's that out of balance, that was a component of the game that hurt us badly.
Did you see a common trend with the penalties? Looking back, you guys didn't do well enough?
Well, pre-snap penalties, that's what I call non-negotiables. I probably should have I should have prevented 1 on the 3rd and 5. Should have just banged a timeout there in the first quarter to not put us at 3rd and 10 there. I don't like doing that, but that's a high leverage snap that I should have thought we were going to be okay, and we didn't end up getting it off. And then, with the other calls, I think just making sure that we're playing with proper technique. And they're all a little bit different, how they look and unfold, but having better awareness, better decision making.
This team was one of the least penalized teams, I think, in the entire league last year. And then this year, a game like Sunday happens. I know you know how to coach disciplined football, so why the wide swings? How does that happen? Is there some?
I don't love where we're at right now. I mean, I think we're in the middle third somewhere of, most penalized. I kind of break everything up into thirds. We're kind of in that middle third. It's not good football. I think our guys do a good job of understanding the rules, making correct decisions. But everybody makes mistakes, and I get it. But, when we have that many mistakes as it relates to that part of the game, it puts you behind the hole. It puts you behind the 8 ball. It really does. And they didn't foul, and so it got out of balance.
When they happen to foul up the way they did, how challenging is it for you to get your players to not worry about, I don't want to make a mistake, I don't want to have a penalty, just focus on football?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very challenging because it's kind of deflating, when you're going backwards. But again, you got to focus on the next play and control what you can control, and try to move on. But I'd be lying to tell you it's a challenge. Especially when you have that many, and there's some high leverage. One takes off a 60-yard touchdown, it cuts to a 1-score game. It's hard, and then we got a punt. So you just got to learn and move on and grow from it, and we got to play cleaner. There's no doubt.
What steps can you take this week to do that?
Yeah, kind of our same process. We educate, we point out, we coach it, and we got to take it to the grass.
Did it seem clear to you the penalty against Trey for unsportsmanlike? Did that seem to come out of nowhere because of why they called it?
Crystal clear.
Isaiah Adams was in a little bit of a rotation there with him and Will Hernandez. What went into that decision to have a rotation there?
A little bit health related, just for Will, where he's at right now, and I want to see Isaiah play.
How do you think he did?
I think he did okay. We got super pass heavy there because we had to, but I don't think we had some quarterback hits, but I don't think we gave up a sack, and however many times we threw it, that was one of the, I thought, pretty good spots of what the offense did. They kept the quarterback pretty clean, and we're obviously able to generate some yardage and some explosives through the air.
What did you think of Fryer's first kind of extended play?
Good. It was good to see him in there, kind of just like you said, Darren, first time he really kind of played tackle for a little bit, but he's been working on his game. He's been improving every week, and he was ready to go. I was proud of him. He was ready to step up in there and go. His role changed, obviously, midway through the game, and he was wearing kind of the muscle hat for us going into that game, so he got to play a little bit. And he goes in at tackle, and we're dropping back every snap, and they know we're dropping back every snap, and he did a good job.
Coach, when you give up over 40 points in back-to-back games like that, how difficult is that to now, like, what's going on defensively or offensively? What's happening?
Yeah, I think, the points thing is obviously we've got to play better in the red zone. I think there were 4 or 5 in the red zone off the top of my head. I talked to the defense today. We had a lot of short fields, and that's what I say about complementary football. And they know they got to go out there and defend. But the first drive, it's on the 1.5, the 1 yard line. That's a tough way to take the field. So we just complementary. We got to do a better job, and we got to do a better job collectively on defense. When they get down into the red zone, we got to keep points off the board. They converted on, the one to McCaffrey, the one to Kittle was a third down, the high red zone one to Kittle. We got a body on a body. They made a good play. It's going to come down to execution.
You were talking last night about how when you guys go to do the onside kick, you're going to give them, you could be giving them a short field. What goes into that conversation and that debate between, all right, do we go for the onside kick? If we don't get it, they're at the
How many possessions do we got left, and how do we get back in the game?
Jacoby said that he felt like it was on the players because a lot of times there were perfect play calls and just the details that they weren't getting right. Why do you think that's happening?
There are a lot of layers to it. The first thing, I think there's a lot of new guys in the lineup. You're playing a different defense. Obviously this is the second time we played them, but they have a say too, as I always say. Plays and schemes and how a play unfolds it changes, week to week, play to play, but I know our guys are trained the right way, and it comes down to a couple plays here or there, some making sure that we're on the details.
I know that you've obviously liked Mike Wilson. He's been here for a couple of years, but did he open your eyes at all about what he can do if, maybe getting him more involved than when other guys come back?
No, I wouldn't say open my eyes. I thought he played extremely well. There's no doubt. I thought, how we deployed him, kind of lined him in some different spots. He was obviously targeted a lot, but he got open and he caught it. And I thought that he did a good job on first, second, and third level to win a lot of one-on-ones, and Jacoby found him. And again, Jacoby had some time to sit back there and throw it, which was nice to see. But I know Mike Wilson's a good player, and I think, obviously with Marv being out, a lot of the targets went to him. You can only throw the ball to so many people in a game, so you're trying to get, Trey his touches, Marv his touches. You're trying to run the ball, a little bit. Dorich gets his touches, Elijah, so on and so forth. But I thought he really stepped up, played well. I wouldn't say he opened my eyes because I know he's a really good football player. He's tough, plays with high effort, does what he's coached to do. The run that called back was probably my favorite play, truthfully. He's sprinting down there, blocks the guy. He played his butt off.
It's inevitable in this league when things aren't going well, the phrase hot seat is going to come out. I don't know if those things reach you, hearing it, seeing it, but how does it hit you if it does, your name associated with it?
Yeah, not a controllable for me. I didn't hire myself. I'm not going to fire myself. So seriously, no, I know it comes up. That's the business we're in. If you don't want to be in that business, we laugh, we joke, go work somewhere else. I'm going to control the controllables for myself. I come to work and do the best job that I can and try to get our team in position to win a game.
What happened on the first interception? Did someone run the wrong route there?
No, at the end of half, you asked me about that yesterday. Triple in concept, those guys, it's spaced out, it's tight spacing to that. That's really an end of half play where it was, where we were, I think, 26 seconds or something like that, or somewhere around there. Trying to make a play and get in field goal range there.
So So that was the play run as it was designed?
I mean, we might be off a yard or two, both guys. You know, and I thought they covered it pretty good. He's trying to fit it in there. That's why, you know, unfortunately, they made a good play and picked it off, and then that led to points. But I really didn't want to run the ball and punt it back to him and not give ourselves a chance to kick a field goal there. So the play is the play.
Your focus is obviously getting your team prepared and on the right track. What would be like a message to the fans during this tough stretch?
Stick with us. We'll get it turned around. We'll get it turned around.
JG, when you were talking to the players today, just what was like the sense that you got from them? Are they PO'd? Are they like frustrated? Like, what'd you get from them?
All the above. You know, they're not happy. They're disappointed. They're frustrated. But like I said last night, like we got good enough guys. They come to work. You know what I mean? And that's all you can ask. And they want to be part of the solution as well. I know that. They come up and tell me that, you know, and that's a good thing. So just got to do a little bit better. But I'd be lying to say it's cheerful in there right now, you know.
You were saying last night that, you know, you want them to come in today and prepare to get off the mat. How do you know, and when will you know if they did pick themselves up off the
If they ask questions in meetings,
just that way?
one of the things I look for, yeah.
Did you do that, Jeff?
Yeah, they did. Is anybody late? Look for that. No one was late. How was the lift? Good. Did everyone make treatment? Yeah, good. Guys doing extra? Yeah, good. All right.
You've been very confident in the coaching staff all season. You've repeatedly said no changes needed. Why do you remain confident in that group?
We'll get it done.